got a cool new model that we're just releasing here in the middle of 2024. This is the VW051 Build Your Own Electric Guitar Kit. It is a semi-hollow flat top kit, and let's dig into it. First, we go to the body. As I said, it's a flat top. It's not carved or arched like many guitar styles. It has a semi-hollow style where the side wings are hollow, but it's solid through the center. It's got a mahogany back and sides. The bulk of the body is mahogany with a flame maple top. You can see kind of some of that, or maybe it's a quilted maple, depends on how you judge. But you can see some of the figuring in that maple top. It's a book matched veneer on each side. And you see some of the figuring now. Once you add a color or even a clear finish, it'll bring out a lot more of that figuring, and it'll really pop. This is set up for a 3-way switch and a master volume and tone that's all wired through the lower F hole here. And we'll get into the hardware a little bit more. The neck is a maple neck with a rosewood fretboard. This is a 25.5-inch scale neck. Although it kind of keeps it compact. It's a very small body. It's great for smaller players. It's just kind of a small guitar overall. It has this open style headstock. The tuners kind of look like what you would see on a classical guitar, but it's not the same. It's a little bit different style. But it is an open style, kind of that vintage look of a headstock. Little cutaways here for the strings to pass through the angle with the neck. It has a truss rod pre-installed. In this case, it's on the heel rather than in the headstock. It's in the heel, and there's tools in the hardware kit to adjust that neck. As we look at the hardware, first we have P90 style pickups with these kind of off-white vintage ivory style pickup covers. Output cable along with a little rod here that we can use to adjust the truss rod in the neck. Here's the tuners that I mentioned. So we have kind of these vintage style 3 per side tuners that go right into the neck like this. Oops, well, that's the other side. Make sure that fits right. There we go. So that's what they'll look like once they're installed. This has a trapeze style tailpiece, very cool, kind of adding to the vintage feel. Mount right there on the body. We have some strings to use for setup, some wire, our 3-way switch, 2 gold style plastic knobs, a square output jack. That output is right there on the guitar. And then we have a Tune-o-matic style bridge. So the way this works, the bridge will mount in place right here. We've got some posts in the hardware kit. And then the tailpiece will float above the body just a little bit. You'll probably be kind of at that angle. So we jump into the hardware kit. We've got our tone and our volume pots, strap knobs, some small screws to affix the tuners, some solder, a tone capacitor, nuts for the pots. These are our posts and bushings for the bridge. And then we have some screws and springs for the pickups. The way these mount, rather than mounting to an external pickup ring like you might see in a traditional humbucker, there's 2 holes right in the center of the pickup. You see the 6 pull screws for the poles, for the magnetic poles for the pickup, and then these 2 empty holes. The screw goes through the hole, and then the spring goes between the back of the pickup and the body of the guitar. And then by tightening or loosening those two screws, you can adjust the angle and the overall height of the pickup, adjust the output a little bit that way. These P90s are marked N and B for neck and bridge. That's stamped in the back of these. Couple things I'll point out on the body that I was just noticing here. We do have some pilot holes drilled for those two screws for each of the pickups. You'll also see some of the access holes here for the wiring to go through. And what happens is all the wiring goes through into this cavity. And wiring through the pickup or through the F-hole can be a little challenging for the first time. You know, you might be used to seeing some kind of access plate right here. But hollow and semi-hollow body guitars have been wired this way for, we're probably coming on 80 years. So what you can do is use some string to fish the wires through. You can do a lot of your soldering outside the guitar and then fish the pots and the output jack, everything into place, the switch. There's several really great YouTube videos out there that show that whole process, that show the technique, that might answer some questions if you're a little bit concerned about that. Overall, I would consider this guitar kit to be an intermediate kit for two reasons, maybe intermediate to advanced. A couple reasons. Number one is that it's a set neck, so it gets glued into place. That can be kind of intimidating for people if you haven't glued a neck in place before. The second reason would be the wiring through the F-hole can be a little intimidating. If you're new to soldering, if you're new to wiring a guitar, that can be an extra wrinkle in the process. But overall, the hardware is fairly simple. It should go together pretty quick. You'll have a beautiful top with this figured maple top, and it should be a great guitar for you. So this is the VW051 semi-hollow build your own electric guitar kit from Vibeworks Guitars.